All right, so this is the last start on the stock ECU with the Accessport. I've got the ECU dug out there, and that's the second time I've had to do it, and hopefully I'll never have to do that again. So this car has 272 cams in it. It's on E85, or it's about to not be on E85. A couple check engine lights, but the big thing is that when the car comes down at idle, it actually runs pretty bad. So when it's warmed up, it just idles real rough. There's probably something else going on with it, but he's moving over to a link ECU, and like I said, I just wanted to do basically a last start to begin on this video here. All right, so here's the exhaust note with it idling. So we actually had to bump the idle up a little bit. I believe it's like 1200 RPMs. Right at like the 950 mark, the car wasn't happy. It was actually throwing codes because the idle was unstable. So once the link goes in, we're gonna see if we can get back down to that factory idle and give it a little bit more chop back. But that's basically it. The car's warmed up, decently warmed up. So I'm gonna go ahead and start switching over to the link ECU and then start calibrating everything. All right, so we are going to uninstall this Accessport now, and this will go for sale if anybody is interested in purchasing this. So we're not going to be using this anymore either. So let's go ahead and get this uninstalled so we can remove the factory ECU altogether. All right, so we have the link set up here. It's just our very basic settings. So we're gonna go ahead and start it up to make sure that it runs. Maybe not. There you go. All right, so now we got to wire up our sensors, start adding a bunch of stuff, make a lot of changes in the calibration, but it obviously runs. Can rev it up. Alrighty. So some of you guys may or may not be familiar with this harness here. So this is the Cobb Next Gen harness for their flex fuel, and we're actually breaking it all down. And the reason why is that because this other STi now is on a link ECU. And one other thing is that the Cobb flex fuel module like suddenly died out of nowhere, and so we're going to strip this down. So we're going to use part of this, and then we're going to feed some of it into the flex fuel port onto the link. So basically, I'm not sure how this all worked honestly from the Cobb side of it, but we're no longer tapping into the TGV stuff, so we can delete that. So the only thing that we're really retaining is the flex fuel connector itself, which is, there's a ground here. Then you've got the power and signal wire that runs all the way through. Power is tapped off the EBCS here, and then the signal wire is at the very end here. So I'm gonna go ahead and start stripping all this down here, and then we're just going to obviously retain the only things that we're using, and everything else can go. All right, so that's what's all left over there is all the TGV wiring, and so now we're left with the boost controller. That's how they get 12 volt power to the flex fuel sensor. The ground, chassis ground, also how they ground the flex fuel sensor in this singular white wire, which is the signal wire. And now doing it this way, this is the only wire that needs to go inside the cockpit. So this side is basically done. Now the only thing that I've got to do is go back and kind of wrap it up. Oh, I hate to say it, folks, I forgot to record it, but it doesn't really matter. All I did was I pinned up the CAN bus for the CAN lambda here, and then obviously this is all plugged up. So this is DI11, this white wire here off the expansion harness. It's just going to simply go to the white wire onto the flex fuel sensor. And then, all right, I've got the wires running around for the fuel pressure sensor and the flex fuel sensor. It's just running along the TGVs here. One other thing I did to clean it up is, since we're no longer interfacing the TGVs themselves, I went ahead and removed this portion of the TGV harness. That way our fuel pressure sensor plugs right into the factory harness, and there's no other dangling plugs here. We've got the obviously the white wire here again, which is going to go inside as well. Alrighty, so just like before, I ran the wideband and the flex fuel wire through the grommet there, made a small incision just to push everything through. So I've got to fish it out now. It's a real tight squeeze back there, but you should be able to get to it relatively easily. So let me go ahead and pull that thing through. All right, so we got everything pulled through. Here's the white wire for flex, and then here's the actual wiring for the OT sensor pulled through. Now it's just a matter of connecting everything back up and dealing with this stupid bracket for the ECU. So now what I'm going to do, instead of dealing with this stupid bracket right now, I'm just gonna plug the ECU in, and then I'm gonna wire everything up just to test for functionality to make sure that everything is good. Once we get everything working, then we'll go ahead and reinstall everything after that. All right, we got timing set up. In order to do it, you got to take the battery out, but I had to let the car warm up, and I've already set timing in the link, revved it up, made sure that there's like a little timer thing that has to happen, and all that stuff is good. So this is all calibrated now. I've got to calibrate fuel pressure, set that all up, and then also calibrate the AVCS cams, and then that's basically it. At that point, we can start wrapping it all back together and then actually start tuning it. So let me go ahead and... All right, so we've got the STi wrapped up on the exterior side / engine bay. What we're doing now though is we are going to put some gasoline into the car, and we're going to check our ethanol content to make sure that the flex fuel sensor is working, and plus we're going to try to get all this old ethanol ran out of it as well. And then we are... Okay, so we've got the engine bay side wrapped up on the STi here. For the most part, we've got everything cleaned up, front bumpers back on and whatnot. So right now, Andrew is adding a little bit of pump gas into it, just because this car has been on ethanol. It's been sitting for God knows how long. So we're gonna put a couple gallons of it just to kind of get everything mixed up. One, to check functionality of our ethanol sensor, plus to help aid in getting rid of some of the old ethanol as well. Okay, so it successfully ran out of gas, and at this point we're actually at E12 right now, so that's good enough for me to tune. So remember folks, we're just doing like a quick street tune on this. We're not trying to build any boost, anything crazy, because this has an IAG short block. So like I said, this is just basically a quick and dirty tune to make sure that everything looks good, that it drives totally fine, and nothing seems super out of the miss. And then we're gonna release this car to the customer, and then he's gonna take it and then break it in. So right off the bat, the gear position is off, and that's something that we encountered on JR's STi here. Not a big deal. We can calibrate that later. But so far so good. Driving around in town so far seems to be okay. No real problems in terms of drivability. We haven't gotten into any real boost at all, so we've got like 0.3 psi, so next to nothing really. So, but AFRs look pretty solid for in-town driving at the moment. So I'm gonna hop on the highway. We're gonna get it to like 75, 80 miles an hour, and then we'll review it all over.